Yo, what's good? Video. Make sure I'm not struggle streaming over here. I'm Marcus, the debt free dad over here. We talk finances and attorney reactions. As always, I always got to toss the disclaimer out there. I am a licensed practitioner of law, but none of the jurisdictions where I'm licensed amount to me being your counsel. So if you're looking for legal financial advice, seek a professional in your area. Now we're going to do a real quick take on this story because it's actually an interesting story. Okay, we've been going down this squatters rabbit hole for a while, and I found a squatter story that was kind of interesting. And this is one where I'm going to need your opinion. So if you watch this video and you're watching this video, y'all let me know in the comments if this woman is a squatter or if she's a tenant. This is a very interesting situation. It's actually pretty complicated legally. You'll hear them talk about that. But we're gonna go ahead and watch this video and then we're gonna talk about it. And I want y'all to let me know in the comments, is she full of crap or is she legit? I'm not gonna let y'all know what I think, but if you know me, I tend to think most people are full of crap. Just off the cuff. That's just how I am. I'm just a person who think most people is full of BS. So we're going to definitely tune in. If you see something you enjoy or get any value from this video, definitely hit the like, share, subscribe, comment, bell, algorithm, all that stuff. As always, we appreciate the support. Aren't selling you anything. Everything that we ask you to do to support this channel is free. Just requires a little bit of time and the click of a button. So let's go ahead, jump into this video. Again, we calling squatter or tenant? Y'all let me know what y'all think on today's story.
Situation in Lakewood. 9 News investigates where neighbors accuse a woman of squatting in a house she doesn't own.
Investigative reporter Jeremy Hohol is along with that now. Jeremy, and in this case, the woman moved into this home after the owner died?
Yeah, the actual rightful heir to the property may be the homeowner's granddaughter who's living with disabilities. 9 News investigates found the accused squatter has a felony record for theft.
In this corner of the Denver metro area, we find a rapidly changing neighborhood with new homes. Right in the middle is a
102-year-old house, and that's a very wild aerial view, just kind of how these houses are set up. But we're talking about this house that's lying right in the center of the screen with look like a big ass white bus parked beside it. And we're in Denver, just so we know, we're in Denver where people like to smoke. It's legal and all of that good stuff.
And a rapidly changing neighborhood with new homes. Right in the middle is a 102-year-old house.
And the house is beautiful.
It's here just west of Sheridan Boulevard in Lakewood where this old home is now valued at nearly $500,000. And for now, the person living inside is not a usual type of home dweller.
It's from 1922. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
Mecca Busey lives here rent and mortgage free.
And the wood matches through the whole house. And I have skeleton keys.
She admits her name is not on the deed and she cannot provide a written lease.
How long have you been in the property?
I have been here almost a year.
But Mecca says don't call her a squatter, even though police reports show officers have been coming here for complaints about a squatter.
So you're not a squatter?
Absolutely not. I'm not a squatter.
Police dispatch records reveal officers have visited this home 19 times over the last year for calls about harassment, trespassing, unwanted party.
So where is the true homeowner? After digging through public records, we found he died last year. He did not leave behind a will, leaving behind this empty home, and now a dispute over who should get it.
That dispute leads us to the granddaughter of the deceased homeowner. She used to live here. Police and court records indicate she's a vulnerable adult, currently living in a facility for people with developmental disabilities. And police reports suggest she may not have the mental capacity to make decisions.
So you're saying there's a verbal lease?
Yes, there is a verbal lease.
And as part of that verbal...
Okay. All right, so y'all let me know what y'all think. Is this lady full of crap or not? Okay, the original homeowner passed away. All right, original homeowner passed away. The rightful owner, this lady says that she entered into a verbal lease with the rightful owner, the granddaughter of the original homeowner who passed away. Now, verbal leases are a thing. You can enter into a verbal lease with someone in most states. I'm not sure if it's every state, but in a lot of states, verbal leases have a finite time period. So you can only enter into a verbal lease for like no longer, for instance, no longer than a 12-month period. After that 12-month period, the verbal lease would end and you're essentially in a month-to-month lease. It would be the same as if, let's say you had an actual written lease agreement for 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, you never signed a new lease. Then you entered into an implied month-to-month lease where every month you pay, you get to stay. So this lady's position is that she entered into a verbal agreement with the granddaughter, who's the rightful homeowner, purportedly, but the granddaughter is developmentally disabled and can't make decisions on her own. I don't know. I don't have my blue hat with me, but this story sounds ridiculous. But there is one thing that's going to definitely tip the scales we go hear about. So let's go and finish the rest of this. Uh, I don't know. You can't enter into a lease with someone who doesn't. You can't enter into a contract with someone who doesn't have the capacity to understand a contract. That's like entering into a contract with a minor or something like that.
She used to live here. Police and court records indicate she's a vulnerable adult, currently living in a facility for people with developmental disabilities. And police reports suggest she may not have the mental capacity to make decisions.
So you're saying there's a verbal lease?
Yes, there is a verbal lease.
And as
Okay, and real quick, I think that's another thing that we got to look at. It says that the police report says that she may not have the mental capacity to enter into the lease, but legally, the police aren't the persons who make a determination as to an individual's capacity to enter into a contract. So that's something that's, a little bit of food for thought as we look at this wild situation.
part of that verbal lease, are you paying money to anybody at this point?
Nope.
Mecca claims the granddaughter, who we are not naming, agreed to let her live rent-free in the home while she makes upgrades, with the condition she would eventually buy it.
I don't know if that's. I don't know how legit that sounds. I agree for you to enter into this lease, and you can enter into this lease and don't pay anything. I just don't see nobody in their right mind saying, "Yeah, I agree to let you stay here. You don't got to pay anything. All you have to do is repair the property on the condition that you buy it." Because you making the actual situation more complex. Because now the amount of money that this person is putting into the home, you're going to have to factor that into the purchase price. What is the new purchase price, or what is the purchase price going to be based on? The value of the home before the improvements, the value of the home at the time of the sale, less minus the cost of the improvements. It could get real touchy, and that just doesn't make any sense for anybody to enter into a lease that doesn't require you to pay anything. Just you pay for it with the improvements that you're making to the property. I don't know about that.
Mecca showed us before and after photos of the yard and
Before and after photos we got on the screen. Let me make that bigger so y'all can see the before and after photos they got on the screen. Look like some. Yeah, look like, I mean, I don't know. Look like a little bit of landscaping was done and the grass was cut, but that don't look like it was a lot of work to be done. The before of the kitchen versus the after of the kitchen. Okay, they put new floors in, but all I see is new floors. I don't see anything else. So it sound kind of sketchy to me.
kitchen.
So how much money have you been putting
Over
into that?
200,000 has gone into this house. That's what I'm saying. I actually thought I was getting the house, or I would not have done that.
And this is all a verbal agreement.
Yes.
Why
but-
didn't you get anything in writing?
Well, they've been coming. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, what the
They said
hell?
they've been coming here.
Hold on, what? Let me go back to this kitchen. Okay, she said she put $200,000 into this house, and they showed the landscaping in the kitchen. Do y'all see that? First of all, let me make this larger. I'm in no ways a carpenter, but this doesn't look like expensive kitchen work. Look right here on the right hand side of the image where the wall outlet is. You got the wall outlet right there. Then if you look down at the bottom underneath the wall outlet, you can see. Let me see if y'all can see that. You can see right here where this little device is. It look like it's maybe gas pipes or something. Where it looks like the molding on the side is all cracked and damaged. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, that look like the same cabinet too. These cabinets look like the exact same cabinets that were in the before and after pictures, just with a new paint job and a different countertop. Oh yeah, yeah. So take a look. Look at this before picture. All right, so this is the before picture. Then the after picture right here. Those cabinets look like the exact same cabinets, just with a new countertop, a new backsplash thrown on there. I don't know. I'm gonna call Cat. I don't think she put $200,000 into this property at all. That would be crazy. Y'all let me know in the comments. Y'all think she's a squatter or a
Putting
tenant?
Over 200,000 has gone into this house. That's what I'm saying. I actually thought I was getting the house, or I would not have done that.
And this is all a verbal agreement.
Yes.
Why
but-
didn't she get anything in writing?
Well, they've been coming. That's what I'm saying. So they've been coming here. It didn't look like anything like this was coming at all.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a total sideswipe.
You're not taking advantage of someone.
Absolutely not. I
Yeah, I don't know.
offered to buy the house.
Mecca says she's the victim because the granddaughter now sees the home improvements and wants her out.
And then I get here and I make it look nice. And all of a sudden they want me.
Okay, so they look like new cabinets put in. Those cabinets look like were the cabinets that were installed before. You can see prior to the cabinets being stained or painted. If they're smart, they stained them. But okay, so maybe she put new cabinets in. But I don't know. Just from that kitchen work and that landscaping, I don't think that's $200K worth of repairs.
Nice. And all of a sudden they want me out without even coming and talking to me. They just
Yeah. Do you regret not getting something in writing?
absolutely.
It's a mess. I looked at it. I looked at the documents. You and I chatted, and this thing is like a law school exam.
Now I tell y'all, off the cuff, I don't believe her because I just don't see anybody in their right mind entering into a lease agreement that doesn't require you to pay anything. That's point number one. Point number two, even if someone did enter into a lease agreement that required you to only make repairs, you would probably have some language in there to make a determination as to how much repairs have to be done or a certain value of the amount of repairs that need to be done in order for you to continue to stay at this place. In order for you to stay in this place over the first every quarter, you have to have repairs that total amount of at least $5,000 that contribute significantly to the overall structure of the house or the appearance of the house. There would have to be some language like that. And normal people, I know a lot of people who rent property who are small time. They may just own a house or inherited a house or it was their first house. I can't think of one person. And I know from all economic scales, people who made a shitload of money, people who make no money. I can't think of one person who was like, you know what, stay here for free, just fix the place up. Unless there was some type of familial relationship. Like if a parent told the child that, it would probably end in a disaster. But I could see that being a potential scenario. You put $200,000 into a house without a written agreement, and she never watched People's Court or Judge Mathis. I agree. This is a People Court or Judge Mathis thing. I just don't think it. The story just doesn't add up. And the cop statement that the lady who she allegedly entered into the lease agreement with may have capacity issues. It doesn't add up. But generally, when I hear facts, I typically give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, I'm gonna give people the benefit of the doubt that you didn't commit a crime or you aren't committing a crime until things start to stack up and tip the scales in your favor. At least where you aren't, that's not written, that's a strike against you. At least where you aren't paying any money, that's a strike against you. And there's one more thing I'm gonna hold as a strike against her. I'm sorry, I'm biased in this regard, but y'all gonna see what I'm talking about. Is I think this is a strike against her. And it's not the tattoo on her chest. I'm not gonna judge her for the tattoo on her chest. Yeah, even though that tattoo on her chest says unbecoming, but hey, hey, you can be a good person with a tattoo on your face
and make
but
it look
the
nice,
one
and
thing
all of a
that
sudden they
looks
want me
like
out
this is
without
BS.
even coming and talking to me. They just
Yeah. Do you regret not getting something in writing?
absolutely.
It's a mess. I looked at it. I looked at the documents. You and I chatted, and this thing, it's like a law school exam.
9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor tells us verbal leases can exist, but only for less than a year in Colorado.
All right, so less than a year in Colorado.
You
Okay.
go into court, if you don't have an agreement, that's where the credibility of the witnesses comes in.
You do have some credibility issues, though, with
For criminal history.
Well, your criminal history. I looked up your
All right. Okay. Criminal history. Let's now. Okay, I'm a pretty fair guy. Okay, and I know people personally, in my family, close people to me who have had a criminal past and they completely turned their life around. Right, but but okay, when we're talking about credibility, this sounds wild, but this is how the courts look at credibility from a legal standpoint. Let's just talk about this real quick, okay? Let's say I was applying for a job to work in the bank, and they asked me, "Do you have any criminal history related to a crime of?" Sometimes they'll say like moral turpitude, or where it was dishonesty related to a financial interest. But credibility is attacked when your previous criminal conviction is such that relates to a current scheme or fraud or crime that you're probably doing now. So, if someone had an assault charge, but they applied to be a janitor in a bank, and the bank was like, okay, what's your criminal history? They probably would hire that person because an assault isn't a offense that's necessarily indicative of someone being untrustworthy around money. So, like, would you, if you had to hire somebody to work in your personal financial institution, would you rather have someone who was committed a fraud or theft, or would you rather have someone who was committed of assault? They punched somebody in the face 10 years ago. Give me the assault person. He might whip somebody's ass if provoked, but he's probably not going to steal from me because he doesn't have the track record. So when courts are looking at credibility, they look at the previous conviction and what is the relation to that conduct with the current allegation that the individual has at present. So let's keep that in mind as we dive into her previous criminal history, and y'all probably could guess what it is. If y'all take a guess right now what y'all think she was convicted for in the comments, in the chat, or in the comments if you're watching this on the replay side of the game.
some credibility issues, though, with
For criminal history.
Well, your criminal history. I looked up your criminal history.
Yep.
You have at
I
least
have quite a history.
You have at least 2 felony convictions
thefts,
on your
yes.
records for identity theft.
Yes.
Identity theft. I don't believe her. I wasn't believing her before because her story seemed a little fugazi. It seems a little BS's. But once I had 2 convictions for identity theft is one of those crimes like low key. This sounds crazy, but low key for me, identity theft is worse than like actual theft. This sounds crazy. Identity theft, in my personal opinion, is a much worse crime than someone who came over your house for some short period of time, whether it was a business relationship or a visit, and they stole something. Because somebody coming into your house stealing something is opportunistic, but somebody who is stealing the person's identity, they completely looking to fuck over that person's life. Like, if you steal something out of my house, I could rebound from whatever you stole out of my house more or less relatively okay. Some people got insurance, and things that'll cover lost or stolen property. But identity theft, you are really looking to screw over somebody for years because it takes forever to clean that shit up. So, hey, 2 counts of identity theft. Me personally, I don't believe anything you're saying, tattoo chest lady. I think you trying to finesse this home from this disabled woman. Now I really do believe that she's a vulnerable adult, even though the cops just said that it wasn't someone who could legally say that she was a vulnerable adult and had a cognitive disability, but I believe everything that holds you in the absolute worst
Nice.
light.
Quite the
Two-
history.
You have at least 2 felony convictions on your record.
It's something
Identity.
shady.
Yes, I'm not pretending to be not Mecca though. That's the whole thing. This has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
This has everything to do with that. Identity theft is literally stealing something from someone without their knowledge to take advantage of the situation for you currently and in the future. That's it's exactly what you're doing now, or allege or purport to be doing, is finessing and stealing something from someone without their knowledge. If this lady has has a disability, without their knowledge, for your own personal gain now and in the future. This house is valued at $400,000. She allegedly put $200,000 worth of repairs into this home. If she can finesse this property, she's looking at having a $500,000 house for nothing except the cost of repairs. Even though I think the cost of repairs is a little capped as well. Something shady.
And yes, I've done my time, so I have no problem speaking on it.
Mecca tells us she will move if legally forced out, but for now she plans to fight for the 102-year-old home, a home that has no legal owner, at least for now.
If things change and I can have the house, then absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I want the house. I mean, that's
The way she said, "I want the house," it also leads me to believe that she full of shit. she stole identities on 2 separate occasions. I would like to know how far those offenses was, because how it works in court is prior convictions of criminal offenses can be submitted in court. It depends on the jurisdictions, but most jurisdictions is like a 7-year look back window. So most places, if you had a felony for identity theft 15 years ago, they probably couldn't get that admitted as evidence. But if it was 6 years ago, 5 years ago, it will probably be submitted as evidence. It varies by state, but normally there's some time frame. In most states, is not indefinitely. Prior convictions won't come in during a trial indefinitely, for an indefinite period of time at least.
the whole thing.
We've learned the court system in Jefferson County has appointed a special administrator to figure out this whole mess of who should get the home. That involves hiring a company that specializes in finding the rightful heirs of property and assets. In the studio, Jeremy Hohola, 9 News.
If you have a tip for 9
All right, so y'all let me know, what do y'all think about that story? I think the lady's full of shit personally. I just don't see, and it'll be really easy to resolve too. The cop said they think the granddaughter, who would be the potential original owner of the home, is a vulnerable adult and doesn't have the capacity to make decisions. Well, find out where she is. We know where she is. We know she's in some type of facility. How long has she been in that facility? If she's been in that facility and the person's at that facility, or whoever's in charge or around her living situation, can confirm or provide facts to support that she doesn't have the cognitive ability to enter into a contract prior to when this lady said they entered into a verbal contract, then we know she's lying. I mean, I would be honest, I think she's lying now, but I'm going to say allegedly just to be on the safe side, but it all looks like cap to me. I think the end resolution to this is likely going to be, because I don't think she has any facts on her behalf. Grandmother passes away. The next heir in line is the granddaughter. The granddaughter is a vulnerable adult. If grandmother passed away with no will, that property will make its way to the rightful heir. Now, if the rightful heir doesn't have the capacity, that doesn't mean the shit is just up for grabs. That means it'll go to an administrator. That money, or the home, or the sales from the proceeds from the sale of that home, will find some way into an account that is for the use and benefit of the individual, the actual granddaughter. So I'm thinking, if, let's say, everything was proven true, okay? Let's say at worst case scenario, the granddaughter did make a verbal agreement. She later on developed a cognitive developmental disability. This lady moved into the house. She started putting these repairs in it. Now these repairs have become affixed to the house. You can't take out the flooring, and you can take out maybe the washer, the dryer, stuff like that. But now that these repairs have become affixed to the house, it could be a situation where the court actually orders a forced sale. They can force, this is possible. I've seen this happen before in several places where the court can order a forced sale, and this lady would be compensated for the repairs that she made if she can prove and substantiate them. They're not going to take her word for $200,000 worth of repairs, but it could be a forced sale where the proceeds are essentially bifurcated and split up, where what the lady paid for repairs, she'll get that amount in cash. Because if you make repairs, we're going to assume the value is going to go up. So a $400,000 home, let's say it sells for $150,000. It could be a situation where this lady would get the $150,000, which the court could deem as the value of her repairs, if that's what she can provide evidence to support. And the remaining of those funds could go into some type of account that would be for the benefit of the individual who is developmentally delayed. That's a fucked up situation if it does, because a lot of times if a developmentally delayed person has no family, the control of their assets often goes to the persons or the facility who's taking care of her. And y'all know, if y'all don't know, I used to do healthcare fraud, and a part of that was investigating and prosecuting abuse and neglect of vulnerable adults, and also misuse of funds of vulnerable adults. So if everything is true, the courts could do a forced sale, give this alleged squatter or purported squatter her proceeds for the repairs. The remaining of the proceeds will go to the granddaughter who's developmentally delayed. Whoever is the caretaker or the facility providing the care will probably have control and custody of that account. And if that is the case, they're probably going to end up using the money for some shit that doesn't actually help the granddaughter, because I've seen it one too many times. When you're in places like that, it's jacked up. Unless you got a lot of money stashed up and there's a trust, or you have family member who can really view your assets. If you in a place like that with no visitors, you're developmentally disabled, that's a really, really bad situation. And not all the times, but it's not uncommon for the caretakers to finesse the money for persons who have nobody else to be in the custody or control of their money. Yeah. This is why it's so important to have a will. It's not about the houses, it's about your loved ones, especially if you're young or vulnerable. I agree. I agree, especially generally, the general rule is you should have a will. The general rule. But if you're an individual, not saying is the best move, but the only thing that messes this situation up is because there's no other adult who can make those decisions. It would be 100% more favorable for the granddaughter who we think may be developmentally delayed if there was a niece or somebody, even though they could fuck off the money too and jack it up, but at least it would be somebody who could potentially make decisions in their own best interest. Because I mean, you can have a will, and Lord forbid you go on a family vacation and something happens. So, like, literally, the best way to do it would probably be to have some type of trust. But we've seen it before. I've done stories on these. Hey, you can't trust the organizations or the legal entities that manage your trust neither. I did a story where a trust stole, it was millions of dollars from children who essentially had some type of medical issue or developmental disability because of medical malpractice by hospitals. And this organization, they were tasked to kind of manage that money in a trust for those kids. And the owner stole like millions of dollars. So now you got all these children who have these developmental issues due to the hospital jacked up. They put their settlement money in a trust with this organization, think it'll help their child. And now their child is 13, 14, and have to live the rest of their life with no money. So it's really a cold game. I mean, a trust is probably the safest way to go, but with a trust is no guarantee. I mean, it's just fucked up. It's a fucked up situation. It should be some organization that's actually a government entity that can do it and not screw people over. But anytime there's opportunity and money, there's going to be greed and shady ass people. Yeah. Okay. Her most recent. Okay. Okay. Cool. Oh hell nah! I can't even get through. I can't even read this comment out. That motherfucker lying. That lady lying like hell, man. Okay, her most recent conviction. Yo, shout out. I appreciate this, Tim. I appreciate this. Her most recent conviction stemmed from an arrest in 2020. Even if it was a 7-year look back window, it's still within that 7 years. In 2020, in which Busey was found in a vehicle with tax forms, bank account paperwork, and IDs belonging up to 40 different identities. Yeah, so that lady full of shit. that lady full of shit. I kind of suspected she was full of shit. Once I heard she had felonies for identity theft, 2 felonies for identity theft, it kind of confirmed that she was full of shit. Now that we got more detail of what those methods of identity theft was, it further supports my contention that this lady is full of shit. And hopefully the courts and the administrator who the court assigns and the company who the courts hire to sort this thing out can get that lady the hell out of there and hopefully find somebody or an organization trustworthy enough to make sure any proceeds from the sale of that home, because it's going to be a forced sale likely because this lady can't live there, but they can make sure the proceeds of that home goes to the actual granddaughter who is purported to have a developmental disability. People ain't shit, man. This is like, yo, I had another story. I was going to do it tonight, but hey, your boy tired and I got some extra stuff going on at the office. So I can't do a video as long as I would like. But people aren't on anything. I was going to do another video. I might do it tomorrow since this one's short and I can do that one short. But where a scammer stole a Walmart. A scammer stole a Walmart, a big ass building, like a big ass like this isn't like residential real estate that someone squatted on. This is a scammer who stole a non-residential property worth millions of dollars. It's a cold game out here, and the whole point of doing these videos is to be aware that, you know, like I said, most people aren't shit, so people are always trying to finesse. So everybody, keep your head on a swivel. Do what you can to protect your interests. We always talk about playing offense. You hear people say, "Oh, invest your money." Sometimes I do a video, or I throw up a post where I show what my returns are for the year. So far, I think I'm at like 12%. But that's offense with money. Going out, getting money, making sure your money works for you is offense. And we all know how to play offense. The problem is we don't play defense. Well, what is defense? How you play defense with your money? Making sure you got adequate insurance, making sure you have life insurance policies that are adequate, making sure you have policies on your vehicles, on your homes that are adequate to cover anything, making sure you have, in addition to that, a will, a trust, some type of plan, making sure you have a plan on who can make decisions medically on your behalf. Because think about it. I remember when I went with my mother to do her will, the court files the will, but the paperwork for an individual to make medical decisions on their behalf, the court doesn't file. That's paperwork that in the jurisdiction where my mother stayed, she actually had to hold on to that paperwork. So she had to have a copy. I had to have a copy. Now, normally it's always your next of kin if you don't have that, but that's a whole process. Somebody can come in and say, I'm the daughter, I'm the son. And then you're talking about all this verification. So that's what playing defense with your money. It's not when you got to go out there and get it, is when you got to have mechanisms in place to protect your money from shady ass people or for losing it in a worst case scenario. Like, yo, I go on family vacations. What'll happen? Do I have a contingency plan in my will if, Lord forbid, something happened and my whole family was on a plane and none of us here. What would happen to our assets? I personally wouldn't care because I'm not here, but somebody will be happy for the most part. But that's what I mean by playing defense on your money. We all know how to go out and get it, but we got to make sure we put the mechanisms in place to prevent ourselves from losing it and to play defense from scammers and finessers out there who trying to get it. So, lady, identity theft, 2020, 40 identification, IDs, bank records, tax record. Hey, I'm a call that you never had a lease in the first place and you're just trying to finesse somebody out their home. So, hey, in light of that, if I'm passing judgment, even though it's an allegation, I hope you don't get shit because I'm not a fan of finessers who try to finesse people. Now, if somebody greedy and they get scammed, that's still terrible. But your greed got you in that situation. But scams where a person does nothing wrong, they're just taking advantage of, are the absolute worst of the worst scam. Because those are scams where the person didn't do anything. They weren't greedy. They weren't necessarily naive. They just got picked by the wrong individual at the wrong time. Yo, that's it for this video. I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Hey, Tim, I appreciate you giving me the update too on the news feed. I definitely needed that. Shout out to you. Thanks for that. Hey, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell notification, all of that good stuff. And if you enjoyed this video, check out whatever the next video that's going to pop on the screen on the replay side of the gang. It'll probably be content that you enjoy. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Peace.